If you're a regular person browsing the internet or scrolling through social media, you know that there is so much information out there about how to find success dating. Never double text, make hella bread, and be a better blacksmith. Blacksmithing is in the top 15 hottest hobbies, by the way. Clearly the internet has figured out the dating scene, right? But why is it that for the past couple of years, men are still finding it harder and harder to find the one for them? Well, let's start from the bottom up, shall we? In the past, specifically when everyone was still farming their own little towns, finding a partner was more about practicality, efficiency, or just convenience in general. Besides, where else are you gonna meet someone? You lived in a village of 80 people, there was no mysterious goth girl waiting for you across the country, and your town maybe had 3 compatible girls. You didn't like any of them and they thought you were dumb and stupid and stinky and you gotta get married though, right? Hell, you might even know some people like your great-great-great-grandma who has crazy stories about how she got kidnapped and shipped off to marry your great-great-great-grandpa in the fucking Bermuda Triangle. My point is, people rarely got married through pure affection. Most of the time, it was just for practicality. And over time, as cities started evolving, so did the idea of affection and spontaneity because it reflected freedom and excitement in modern life. Think about it. You're in the grand city of New York exploring with so many other people, and in the back of your mind is the possibility of finding your soulmate in this concrete jungle where dreams are made of and there's nothing you can't do. Imagine reaching to a jar of 1,000,000 jelly beans. Specifically the ones that might taste like ass. Some might taste good, some might taste like rotten fish. Some might emotionally scar you for the rest of your life. But that was the new and exciting part about dating that was so romanticized now. The spontaneity of the whole process. Before you only had 3 jelly beans, and they all tasted like fish. Now you at least have the possibility of getting one that tastes like toothpaste. You know what I mean? My point is, if you think about it, this idea of marriage being all romantic and amazing is relatively new and started evolving especially when women gained more freedom and financial independence. But with the introduction of the internet and this era of dating apps we're in now, it added a layer of parameters and settings that you could reasonably set to make it so finding your perfect someone was less random in a way. Plus, your jelly bean jar just got 100 times bigger, didn't it? So if these dating apps have optimized the process of finding a partner through algorithms, and all this fancy coding lingo, why are men finding it harder to find a date now than ever? Why is it that no matter how much we reach into the fucking jar of jelly beans, we can't ever seem to just get one, even if it tastes like a rotten egg? With dating apps, there's a sense of safety and detachment offered. With how accessible the dating market is, people are more comfortable with casual flings or with the actions of ghosting. But at the same time, what may seem like a non-committal and safe way to just kinda shoot 1,000 shots at 1,000 bad bitch turns into serious self-esteem issues for those who don't have the best profile or just frankly aren't conventionally attractive enough. It skews the experience for those who perform well on these apps and attaches worth to what you can offer in a dozen photos and a couple quirky little prompts, you know what I mean? And quite frankly, it conditions us to care so much more about our looks than we did, let's say, 20 years ago.
Human beings evolved to live in tribes of like 300. So the number of romantic rejections you could receive over the course of your life, it's like maybe 20 or 30. But in today's world, you can get onto a dating app and get rejected by hundreds of people within like 24 hours. There's certain things that technology is doing which our brains were not designed to exist at this scale. Dating apps is a good example of that.
The dating world probably is more difficult than it was before, and who am I to sit here and spout some oversimplified one-size-fits-all solution like, dude, just be yourself. Dude, just put yourself out there, dude. Or, dude, just get on your knees at Walmart and start begging for a date. And gloss over the hardships of many people out there who genuinely struggle with today's dating scene. I'm far from a dating coach, and I'm definitely not going to give you any sort of tips on how to pull a woman. I mean, look at my ass. They just come to me naturally. But with the increasing difficulties of the dating scene, there became an urge to seek for control, an urge for certainty, and something that feels so unpredictable nowadays. And where do we find that control, that certainty? The exact place that made dating so hard in the first place. The place that sells you every single solution as to how to find a girlfriend, the internet. But what I want you to think about is, why do we feel as though the answer to finding human connection is online? Why do we keep trying to optimize something that was never supposed to be optimized in the first place? And why do we feel as though we need an explanation on how to love? What if all your problems could be solved with one solution. Just fix your face, the angle of your eyes, the fullness of your hair, the clearness of your skin. You'd succeed in life, right? Look at me, I'm giving me more. I actually think I'm fucking myself up even more. But look, I can give myself hair like Kim Jong-un. Learning how to attract a woman is basically ingrained into our DNA. That's why things like big muscles, a fat ass neck, like what I'm giving myself. No, I need to put this away. In simpler terms, big muscle equals strong men who carry big rock and take care of big tribe good. It's a little more complicated than that, but a lot of typical beauty standards stem from these indicators of survivability or genetic and reproductive health. Now, looks maxing is the concept of bettering your physical appearance to the highest degree possible. I know you guys know what this means, but basically you smash your face, take testosterone, all of these obscure techniques as to making yourself more conventionally attractive. But there's more I want to dive into. A lot of people run to looks maxing when they feel insecure in their own body, which means it depends on a lot of outside validation. Wanting to improve how you look is not a bad thing, but most of the time, we turn to looks maxing because we are unhappy with how we look, unhappy with how we are perceived, or in our case today, unhappy with our dating life. It acts as an outlet, something we can improve on, and it actually doesn't mend any core problems at all. The truth is, extreme looks maxing breeds a culture of superficial relationships, and a lot of these looks maxers are convinced that looks literally decide your success in life and that this is how the world works, and it really just perpetuates a cycle of infinite vanity.
Why do you want, what is looking better for?
So I am someone who just wants to mog, essentially. At this point, I just want to mog people. I want to have, a better halo effect and just better overall quality of life through my looks.
Well, look, sometimes a guy just wants to mog. I get it.
You know what I mean?
But you do meth.
It provides a systematic way to improve, but almost teaches us to run from our internal issues. For example, a lot of looks maxers today implies the idea that if you're below average height, then your life is just genuinely ruined.
I don't want to ruin someone's life. I would never bring a life into this world under the height of 5'11" in the year 2026. So I will not have kids.
I swear to God, saying you're short to a looks maxer is like saying you have chronic stage 9 heart disease, because they just start looking at you and they start pitying you and trying to find ways to salvage the rest of your life.
So
oh wow, you're
like
5'5".
everything was shit.
You're 5'5".
Yeah.
Wow,
Yes.
dude, holy shit. I did not know that. Dude.
Yeah. So I will probably also get double limb lengthening.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Yeah, 5'5", bro. Yeah, I think if I was 5'5", I would do limb lengthening for sure.
Height does matter, but online dating, a process literally comparable to submitting your resume to an online job application, has created a culture where your value is determined from what you can convey in a couple photos. And if you're not 6 feet plus on there, it's going to be very difficult for you. It completely disregards the human connection part of the real world, which is arguably the most important part. It makes it so height seems way more important than it actually is. So sure, there might be a positive relationship between improving how conventionally attractive you are and how many girls you can hypothetically slay. But again, if you're so broken to the point where looks are the most important thing to you, where do you genuinely find worth in your partner, and where do you find worth in yourself? And I think a lot of this obsession with looks is a generational trend. Everyone has been through a phase where they're super hyper-focused on being as attractive as they can. But I also think the internet has amplified this obsession to the point where younger generations are taking it way too far. And trust me, everyone also goes through a phase where they're old as shit, like that one granny of SpongeBob. All of this superficial talk about looks won't matter at all once we're 90 years old. I mean, if you're 90 years old and still talking about how you have recessed jawline, your grandchildren are probably gonna think you forgot to take your pills again. In other words, why are you always trying to slay? Women just want a blacksmith. All jokes aside, it's just disheartening when so many young men turn to looks maxing to find love when they can barely find it in themselves. A lot of men also turn to the red pill, a set of beliefs that claims to reveal the true nature of dating. And basically they argue that modern dating is a losing game for men, and that women are mainly attracted to high-status men who display power, success, and attractiveness. It's an ideology driven by past experiences, by emotional scars, and by generalization. And in the modern era, it's even hard to deal with this overgeneralization where relationships are so publicized on social media. God damn, that was a lot of fucking word jumbo.
They're really going to some of these red-pilled communities. And so what you're seeing now is just men really opting out of society. So when you go back to that stat, 1 in 7 young men in the UK is NEET, not in employment, education, or training. They have just opted out. And so we are just creating a lot of these angry young single men who are saying, well, this is rigged against me. And so that's why I am worried about the rise of people like Andrew Tate. And if we wonder where are the dads, where are the men? Well, men are finding these father figures, but they're finding them online, and they're not the father figures that I would choose for the majority of men.
Consider any public relationship in the modern era, right? Anytime there's a big breakup or a nasty cheating situation, people are always so quick to jump to extremes and lose faith in the dating scene. It brings to light that dating can hurt. It does hurt, to be honest. Sometimes it stops us from being vulnerable, and sometimes it sows seeds of doubt into our partner about how she supposedly has a wall of DMs from guys on her Instagram, or how she supposedly has 30 coworkers secretly feeding for her, or that her weird cousin is like hitting on her. Can you ever say with 100% certainty that your girlfriend doesn't have 90 other backup options available? No, but that's the beauty of trust. That's what's so special about a relationship. The ability to look at your partner and have faith in her as your partner, right? I've read and seen crazy situations where women cheat after maybe a decade of a committed and serious relationship. And it's just so easy to see things like this online and lose hope in the dating scene. To see these ideas of, yo, never trust these girls, man. If she cheated on her boyfriend after being in a decade-long relationship, then love just does not exist. And it's understandable to lose faith in the dating scene when a relationship that seems so strong crumbles apart just like that. But the truth is, with no context, we are just so quick to make assumptions about other people based on our own experiences, and there almost exists an urge for the affirmation of these ideas that keep us so stuck in the mud. Generalizing feels safer than being hurt, and if one bad experience becomes proof that every woman is the same, then you don't really have to sit with the scarier possibility that dating is unpredictable and people can hurt you, and sometimes there is no clear explanation on why it happened. And instead of just saying, hey, this girl really hurt me and it really fucking sucks, and I just want to lay in bed and eat ice cream all day, we say women are evil, women are stupid, and women go to Jupiter to get more stupid or whatever. Because it's the easier reality to live with, right? And after a while, this rhetoric stops feeling like it's a coping mechanism, but the actual truth, then it's not. It's something that makes us feel like we have control, that we understand the evil woman, when in reality, it just keeps us so emotionally stagnant.
Eric Peters, who goes by the name Clavicular, faces criminal charges for firing a gun at an alligator while live streaming. Clavicular says he is home from the hospital after he appeared to suffer an overdose during a live stream last night. In the video, the three are seen unloading multiple shots and are now charged with a misdemeanor for unlawfully discharging a firearm.
Peters, also known as Clavicular or Clav as he prefers, has gained a lot of controversy recently because of looks maxing and the extremes he has taken and other young people have taken to increase or maximize their attractiveness to women.
If we think about how the youth consume content, it's entirely through social media, and when we consider what type of rhetoric the internet can spread about dating and self-worth, it's no surprise that these topics are influencing newer generations. And that's exactly how a guy like, I can't believe I'm talking about this motherfucker, Clavicular, came to be. Now, if you don't know who Clavicular is, he's basically the avatar who mastered all four elements of modern internet slop. Or if you watch Hunter x Hunter, he's like the ultimate Chimera ant if he only ate all the looks maxers in the world. He's a 20-year-old guy who was exposed to looks maxing at a young age, started taking testosterone at 17, just recently got double jaw surgery, and is doing anything possible to ascend, he calls it. Newsflash, news alert, Clavicular has gotten a new face. He's plastered on an entirely new face in the time period I took making this video, which says a lot about my time management and how I could be getting a new face too. He also has some questionable viewpoints about the world. Here's a little quick snippet of him.
I just opened my Twitter and saw you making out with like 4 different girls in there.
Okay, and look who I'm with now, so who gives a fuck? You think
Who gives a fuck?
I don't even know their names.
Their nasty ass lips are now, that's disgusting. I want you to like listen to me and like compromise somehow, because like that's really
Listen
gross.
to you. You think all of this came from listening to a woman?
It doesn't come from making out with girls.
It does, actually. Every single thing that I've ever done to be successful has been my decision and my decision only. So it's got to remain that way. Okay, this lifestyle that you're living is because of my hard work. So don't try to interfere with it.
I'm not trying to interfere with it. Stop making it sound like that.
You understand?
Okay. When are you?
Come here.
But most important of all, he believes that we should adapt to the increasingly degenerate society we live in. The society where supposedly looks are the most important thing for a person, and wants to position himself in the best possible position to succeed in this devolving culture. And the thing is, he's not the only person who believes. There are thousands of kids out there who genuinely believe in this superficial world that emphasizes looks and this toxic culture around women. He just currently has the largest reach. From a young age, we were already exposed to the concept of objectifying our own bodies with a rating from 1 to 10. Hell, I see kids on the internet talking about how they need hunter eyes or hollow cheekbones. Like, bro, you look like a fucking pufferfish. It's absolutely insane because these kids were what clavicular was when he was younger, and it's only going to get worse. I mean, when I was 10, all I cared about was watching Naruto, pretending to be Sasuke. It's sad in reality when all they do, they're 10 years old and they attach themselves to a screen and objectify themselves and think about how their jawline isn't strong enough or they're not height maxing. We are so deprived of love because people have forgotten how to love themselves. And the cycle will only continue if we don't recognize that this is a problem. We go our whole life searching for control because control equals happiness. Yet, when we encounter one of the only things we can't control, love, we start seeking in parts of the internet that only exist to profit off our insecurities. Looks maxing, the red pill, all of these dating courses only exist because we yearn to find the answer to how to secure love. When in reality, it's only doing more damage to us. You could have the sharpest jawline, the most money in the world, even be the most emotionally intelligent, and yet none of these will ever truly be able to buy lifelong love because it's not as simple as a transaction in any type of manner. We as human beings are literally wired to feel love. We know it can be stretched and squished. We know it can be strong and passionate for years, even decades, but suddenly leave the next day. The internet sells certainty for something that is innately uncertain in the form of negativity and harmful rhetoric. So, when you're digging in that jar for your jelly bean, when you're searching for love, just be careful with whichever lens you're using to search for it. Let me know what you guys think of my perspective. I know I'm still very young and naive, but I at least hope I gave you guys something to ponder about in the shower. Bye!